Welcome back to the bar. It's been a while. I don't do much of these anymore. But also, too, I still have my address at the bottom. If you ever want to send me anything through my P.O. box, you're welcome, more than welcome to do that. Just remember to laven sus manos. Teo, I forgot the word for wash in Japanese. But wash the hands, wash the feet. Be very careful. So this is what is this? Independence Day coming up on Saturday. I fucking hate Independence Day. Because we had had fireworks since May, and Vine Sauce Vinny had said he had fireworks going on in New York where he is. They said people are bored. They're bored out of their minds, so they're launching fireworks during this quarantine. But I told my neighbor, and I live in East LA, people have had fireworks going on last year, since last May. So what the fuck is that about? So we're just doing it more and more. We're wasting money. They can't. I live in the ghetto, so you can't spend money for your kids to get them through college, but you can spend money on shitty fireworks. Wow, that's my pity clap for you. Anyway, so we're gonna talk about also too. I have some playlists in the just go through the playlists on my channel. You'll see some. I added some new playlists for my stories. So enough advertising for me. What makes you independent? So 1 minute 32 in. What do you do for yourself? Do you do for yourself? True forced loneliness. There has to be a time where you have to force yourself to be alone, and you have to force yourself to think for yourself. Tom Likas, before he turned Democratic psycho, he had a good idea for most of his callers. You have to get away from the people in your life. Get a notepad. Get or get like a tablet or an actual piece of paper. And you write down all your thoughts and feelings of what your goals are away from people, away from your influences, away from your drug habits, your drinking habits, your job. Take a vacation. Stop doing the stuff you're doing right now and just take a vacation. So very briefly, I'm going to go over the 6 things that are not your friends. Now, I've said this on Rorschach's channel. In one of his comments, I said something about the 6 things that are not your friends. I will reiterate it for my channel so everyone can see what I'm talking about. The first thing is political parties. Political parties are not your friends, okay? These are people that are looking for votes. Now, the 2 biggest political parties, there are Panther parties for black people. There are Green parties, independents, peace and freedom, libertarian, independent. Ross Perot, the last major, I think he's like, in my recollection, he's like the only third partier that made it to the finals, made it to the electoral college, I think. So there's all kinds of parties, but the 2 biggest ones is the elephant in the room and the donkey in the bathroom. It's the Republicans and Democrats. Now, during my time on this earth, I've seen the Democrats commit adultery and the Republicans being idiots and putting a man on trial, on an impeachment trial, for playing with his cigar with an intern. And as a result, we should impeach him because it's unchristian. The Republicans want to overturn Roe v. Wade and then end up bringing metal coat hangers back into style. You know why. The Republicans have gone to war. We went to war. We killed Saddam Hussein. Okay. We were trying to find weapons of mass destruction. We've had idiotic presidents on the Republican side, and we've had racists on the Republican side. Now, for the Democrats, they don't mind putting a man on a chopping block and accuse him of rape, and you have some doctor who says, oh, yes, this guy from 30 years ago, he raped me. Christine Blasey Ford, who Tom Likas defended, who he simped for, was a liar. We knew she was a liar. You could tell on that witness stand she was a liar before the Supreme Courts. And Judge Kavanaugh, I didn't see her testimony live. I saw bits and pieces. But Judge Kavanaugh looked like this, like he looked pissed off. Now, he might have been telling the truth, he might have been lying, but he looked pissed off. And he might be a drunk. He might have drinking problems, but I never saw him as a rapist. Um, and of course, people don't like him because he follows the president's orders. Well, fuck of a nut, motherfuckers. Of course he's going to follow the president's orders. Trump is the president. I think he's an idiot. I still do, even though now I'm on Parler. I'm on Parler and Twitter. As I told you, I don't take sides. But I do see when someone is right. And as Boogie Stephen Williams says, I'm not going to root for somebody because they're LGBTQ. I'm going to root for somebody because you're you. And that's a good way to look at it. So Republicans and Democrats, and by the way, the Democrats, everybody stay at home. Republicans, like, everybody leave home. We still have the pandemic as of July 1st, 2020. It's an election year. You've got people like Candace Owens trying to rally for the right. You've got celebrities rallying for the left. We'll get to that in a moment. But parties are not your friends. They don't care about you. They want you to push for their agenda. Whatever that agenda is, it's probably not going to include you. Because as soon as you vote on Proposition XYZ, by the way, that was bullshit. The only two propositions I really fell for was Proposition 5 in 1996 about the Indian gaming casinos and Proposition 8 about how your kids turn gay in school, but it was about gay marriage and the right was misleading you. That was in California. That was in 2009. That was fucking bullshit. It's nobody's business. If gay people want to get married, let them get married. Why does it have to do with you? So there are times where I'm going this way, this way, this way, this way. As George W. Bush, the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. Trying to do different ways. So I can understand where some people are trying to do the right things, but in general, these parties are not your friends. The next thing that's not your friend are celebrities. These people have extravagant lives. As Paul Joseph Watson points out, who's for the right, people like J.K. Rowling can virtue signal for migrants and migrant workers, but to destroy the borders and let everybody flood the floodgates, let Mexicans flood the floodgates. It's easy to say that when you live in a nice home up on the Hollywood Hills. Like Danny Trejo is like the only celebrity I can think of right now who looks like one of us in East LA. But he's in his McMansion doing this, looking up at the city skyline. He doesn't want to be down there. He's up there in his private neighborhood, locked by gates with passwords and passcodes. That's how celebrities roll. That's how they live. So it's easy for them to say, "Oh yes, we must save everyone." And there are a lot of migrant workers who are hardworking, who support the democratic narrative, but there are those who have problems. For Mexicans, we have gang leaders. We have people who have you have the drug cartels, you have people who are invested in cocaine, crack, guns, illegal acquisition of marijuana, marijuana without a license, speed, pills, ecstasy. So you have people who have drugs and guns and illegal goods. They come to our country and start their own gangs. And you could tell. And like in my neighborhood, there's VNE. By the way, VNE has their own YouTube channel. Hey, motherfuckers, shout out to you. You don't do anything good. And it's tough because this is an extra, but these people are not your friends. The cholos are not your friends. I understand you come from an abusive background. Your dad hits your mom hits your dad, or maybe you come from a family of cholos. But these people are not your friends. They're your friends for as long as you do for them. And the moment you want to do something else, if you want to date an Asian woman, if you want to go into some other kind of work that's not the algorithms of what they do, they're going to either kill you or kind of lock you down, watch you even more closely. That's fucked. But that's pretty obvious to most people who are watching this and thinking, well, I live in Simi Valley, I live in Gardena, I live in Glendale, I live in Hollywood, I live in Burbank, I don't live in the ghetto. But some of us do. And we this stuff is like, it's like a middle finger in your face. VNE, they have these big letters all over like walls, and then other gangs tag that wall, say VNE, fuck this is better, or MS-13's better, we're better than your gang, we're better than your gang. As Qui-Gon Jinn said, there's always a bigger fish. They just kill each other. There's no point. And for the Chola, I mean, here's where I disagree with It's a Gundam. It's better to be the Twitch thought than to be a Chola or a battered wife who's going to get her comeuppance from her husband. Because at least if you're a Twitch thought, you can call your own shots. Just don't be cruel to your simp audience, and don't be Pokimane either. You're not helping. So the third thing that's not your friend are moral institutions and organizations. Because even if they're good now, they're going to be corrupt later. United Way was corrupt. Some companies like Naughty Dog, video game companies, Naughty Dog, Activision, all they care about is your damn money. They don't care how they get it. Target makes, well, we'll get into corporations in a moment, but there's all kinds of companies that make errors with security in your credit card information. The moral message of any organization, whether it's PETA, whether it's FEMA, whether it's the ASPCA, it may change, and you may not be able to trust them later. So, moral institutions, Braille Institute, YMCA, you just never know. If like with Sega, I might virtue signal for Sega, but if Sega does stupid things, and they did something stupid with the whole mini Game Gear stuff, and it's like, well, that's nice, and I can see some people buying it, but I don't care. But in general, I like what they do. They're very cool, but they're very stupid at times. So it's very hard to really be a full-time supporter of any moral institution. And the other one you can't support are organizations. You can't support them. I'm sorry, corporations. Target, McDonald's, Burger King, J.C. Penney, Ross Dress for Less, stuff like that. You can't trust them because corporations, even if they agree, like NBC Universal, I feel, other than the Lily Singh and Jimmy Fallon's of their late night TV shows, other than that, Universal has probably been the least responsive to political correctness. That doesn't mean that they're going to promote people to be racists, but it's like they haven't done as much as other, like Disney would. Disney makes draconian decisions. They took off an episode of Golden Girls for some sort of blackface misinterpretation. Okay. I don't know what to say about that. Now, there's a couple more. I'm trying to figure this out, what the last two were. So you have organizations, moral institutions like FEMA, like PETA, and even the NAACP. They're organizations too. They're moral authorities, okay? Even religious people are not your friends. So that's in here, moral institutions. Like some people, like I forgot the guy's name. Was his name James? I forgot his name. The guy, Joel Osteen, the one that locked up his church when there was a hurricane or tidal wave or whatever was coming for the city, and he locked up his church, didn't let people in. Moral institutions or corporations, you got political parties, you got celebrities. I'll even say YouTubers. Now, for me, specifically, I'm going to say YouTubers with about like millions of subscribers. So with me, I can be your friend for now. But it's hard to be my friend if I had like a whole following of people. And I think these days it's difficult. If I don't have monetization, if I don't have sponsors for this channel, then it's very difficult. Jim Sterling, for whatever political side he's on, he doesn't have ads. So you see his stuff. He's got other ways to pay, Patreon. So that's other things. I'm trying to think of the last thing. There's like 6 things in general, but mostly it's political parties, it's organizations, it's institutions, television shows, things that you admire as a general, because we tend to trust those organizations, and we tend to trust people and think, I don't know you personally, but I'm going to trust you because I like your work in this and this and this. A lot of actors try to be politicians. It's like, you're just actors. Don't try to be everything else. It's easy to sit there and run your mouth. As Qui-Gon Jinn said, having the ability to speak does not make you intelligent. And I'm trying to think of the last thing that it is. I mean, co-workers are not your friends. That's another one. There are a lot of things that are not your friends. Now, what is your independence worth? Besides the fact that you should think for yourself and not let a female think for you, you should also be very mindful of the things you follow. I have to be mindful. So even though I'm on Parler and I'm on Twitter and I'm on Instagram and on TikTok, I'm on different things. And one of the reasons I did do it was because a lot of YouTubers were telling me, in case you're ever silenced, because Dr. Disrespect's reason for being banned still hasn't been listed. And I kind of believe before he got the news on his stream that he was notified that, hey, Twitch is going to order 66, these Twitch streamers, and you may be one of them. And so maybe he got the heads up, but he was hoping that he wasn't going to be one of the people. Maybe that's because if you got a note by saying, okay, on your phone, it says, okay, you're looking at your phone. It's like, oh, you've been banned. I'd be like, my reaction wouldn't be one of tears yet. I'd be like, well, wait a minute, that's got to be a mistake. This isn't right. So I have a feeling that he knew something was up, but he didn't know if it was going to be him. That's my theory to that. And that's hard. I mean, because like I said, you trust your favorite organizations, you trust your favorite corporate stores, and they trust certain politicians that you don't. And there's, movie studios, and then there's celebrities, and then there's YouTubers that have millions and millions of subscribers, and millions of people who join them. You have to think for yourself. You have to act for yourself. You have to come first, and you have to know what you want in life. You got to put you ahead of everything else. It's very difficult because you want to follow them, those people or those things that you follow, and say that this can't possibly go wrong, when in fact it does. Because religious people, people in corporations, they'll speak the algorithms of the things, of the key words you like to hear. But in reality, they just don't care. They don't care what you think. They're thinking for themselves, and they'll try to make it seem like, oh, we're working together when it's just them doing most of the work and you're giving the money, and you're hoping that it's going to turn out the way you think it is. So that's all I've got to say. I want everyone to have a good 4th of July. I am still doing things for myself. I'm hoping to go back to my library to volunteer. That feels like from a stone's throw away to a meteor throw. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I don't think it's going to happen. The Democrats push for staying at home until after November. Then they don't give a damn. They'll say, oh, now we must go back to work. Yeah, motherfuckers, after November you say that, because after you lost the election. It's the way it is. So I wasn't able to list the 6 things unless you count religion, but nobody is your friend. The only people that are your friends are the people, here's who are your friends. The people that you are keeping contact with, direct messaging. They talk to you a lot on direct messaging, or they email you, or they see you face to face. Those are the people who count. I have a lot of work to do on Metal Men, and I have to do an art piece for DC Fandom for a contest that I will not show on social media until September. It's kind of a long wait, but I'm hoping it'll be worth it. All right.